you're dealing with cloud data, you probably felt it, right? That sort of background hum. Are we paying too much for storage? Is all this digital stuff getting out of hand? Well, today we're doing a deep dive into Amazon S3 storage classes and lifecycle management. Our goal here is pretty simple. Figure out how these tools give you a shortcut, really, to smarter, cheaper data storage. Make it less complex than it sometimes seems.
Yeah, absolutely. And for anyone using S3, you probably know it's not just like one giant folder in the cloud. The real magic is in the storage classes. It's Amazon's way of letting you, tweak the cost and the access speed for your data, basically storing it smartly based on how often you actually need to get to it.
Right, so it's not just dump and forget. It's more nuanced. Could you maybe give us a quick taste, like a couple of the main types people should know?
Sure. So you've got S3 Standard. That's your go-to for stuff you access all the time, like files for an active website. Then there are options like S3 Glacier for archiving, long-term storage, and even S3 Intelligent Tiering, which is pretty cool for data where you just can't predict the access patterns.
Okay, intelligent tiering sounds interesting. And you mentioned lifecycle management tying into this. What's that piece about?
Life cycle management. That's the automation part. It's a feature that lets you set up rules to automatically shift your data between these storage classes, or even, delete it after a certain time. It's like putting your data strategy on autopilot.
Okay, so why bother setting this up? I mean, beyond just saving a few bucks, what's the real win here?
Well, saving money is definitely a big one. Matching data to the cheapest appropriate class makes a huge difference. Think Glacier for archives. But it's also about simplifying things, right? Through automation and supporting all kinds of needs from active files to regulatory archives you need to keep for years. And that ties into compliance too. It helps ensure you're meeting those long-term data retention rules without actively managing it day to day.
Makes sense. Okay, let's unpack this a bit more. Can we walk through a few key examples, like how do these classes really balance cost and speed?
Yeah, let's do that. The trade-offs are key. Take S3 Standard. Like I said, it's for frequently accessed data, website files, application data you need now. You get instant access, super high durability. It's copied across multiple physical locations, availability zones or AZs. The cost reflects that, around 0.0233 per gigabyte per month.
Okay, standard stuff, standard price. What about the other end of the spectrum, the archive stuff?
Right. So then you have things like S3 Glacier Deep Archive. This is for data you almost never expect to touch. Long-term compliance data, maybe old backups. It's incredibly cheap. We're talking something like $0.000099 per gigabyte per month. That's what, like 95% cheaper than the standard? It's huge savings. But here's the trade-off. Getting that data back isn't instant. It takes time, usually around 12 hours.
12 hours. Okay,
Yeah.
so definitely not for active files,
Yeah.
but amazing for cost savings on deep archive.
Exactly. And then there's that S3 intelligent tiering I mentioned. This one's fascinating because it watches how you use your data. It automatically shifts objects between a frequent access tier and a less expensive infrequent access tier if you haven't touched them in a while. And the really neat part, no retrieval fees for those automatic moves. It's perfect for things like analytics data where access might be spiky or unpredictable.
That does sound smart.
Huh.
So how does the lifecycle management actually, do this? How do you set it up?
It's actually pretty straightforward in the AWS console. You create lifecycle rules. For example, you could say, okay, for any log files older than 30 days, move them to S3 Standard IA. That's infrequent access, cheaper than standard, still fast retrieval. Then, after 180 days, move them again, this time to S3 Glacier Flexible Retrieval. Cheaper still, retrieval takes minutes to hours. And finally, after 365 days, just delete them. You set the rule once, and S3 handles it. No scripts, no manual intervention. It just works.
Wow. Okay, that automation piece sounds like a lifesaver compared to, well, what did people do before this kind of smart cloud storage?
Oh man, it was often a headache. Companies might have just kept everything on expensive on-premises hard drives, one tier fits all, which gets costly fast, or they used physical tape backups, literally storing tapes somewhere, which meant manual processes for retrieval, finding the right tape, hoping it still worked, plus writing complex custom scripts to try and manage data movement. Often brittle, often unreliable.
Right, I can picture the dusty tapes. So S3 and lifecycle management directly solve those problems then.
Exactly. They hit those pain points head on. High costs. You optimize by choosing the right class, that 1 terabyte example. Putting it in Glacier Deep Archive instead of standard saves you maybe $21, $22 a month. Multiply that across petabytes, it adds up fast. Manual work and clunky scripts, replaced by reliable automation, compliance burden, handled by the rules you set, and retrieving archived data, way faster and more reliable than digging out old tapes.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for someone listening?
I think it's that you have these really powerful but accessible tools available right now, tools to make your data storage much smarter and, frankly, cheaper.
You can save real money, cut down on tedious management tasks, and nail your compliance needs pretty seamlessly.
Yeah, it frees you up to focus on other things, knowing your data is being handled efficiently and cost-effectively in the background.
Okay, so here's a final thought to leave you with. Take a moment and think. What data are you holding on to right now that might be sitting in an expensive storage tier unnecessarily? Could it be costing you a fortune just because it's, well, in the wrong digital place? Really consider the possibilities these tools unlock for your budget and your workflow.